Hey, fellas, good morning. It's the 23rd of October, Wednesday. It's a little after 10 o'clock. I'm a little bit under the weather, but I want to share something with you, and it has to do with um, remembering where you came from. Last night, my wife and I were invited to a, quotation marks these are, exclusive dinner at the country club we used to belong to because I no longer belong to any country club. And one of the servers at the country club, his name is Carlo. And I've known Carlo since, not Carlos, Carlo. I've known Carlo since 2016. So that's 7, 8 years. Good young man. He's trying to get enough money up to where he doesn't have to work to go for his last, I think it's the fall and then the winter semester, the last 2 semesters of college, so he can just concentrate and then work on it. He's in the STEM field. He's in the engineering field. Manufacturing engineering is what I gather. And my wife and I, they take us back. The theme of the meeting was one of the things that gave me a lot of pause. Well, there were 2 items on the agenda. The first one was how can we push the $400 million to build this new part of the hospital? How can we push this over the top, or to get people to say yes to the taxing themselves $400 million? It's one of the add-ons on the election on November 5th. And the other one was how spirituality isn't real. And that's just the theme of this dinner. It's in a very private room. Um, Everything was paid for. Everything was paid for. Um, and one of the waiters was Carlo, and he came in, and I was like, "Hey, what's going on?" He's like, "Hey, coach." And he was being very quiet. We were being very quiet because this is, there's very, very important people in the fucking room. And about 45 minutes into the first presentation from the hospital about why they need $400+ million, with the caveat that if they go over that budget, the taxpayers will pay for it because it's part of the decision. Once you say yes or no, there's always a caveat at the bottom of each of it that says if it goes over and we need taxes or da 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 da, it's automatically included. And I watched in succession how 3 of the people in the room treated Carlo. Now, I stayed up until the end of the hospital portion because my wife works for the hospital. And then I told her I wasn't feeling well, which I actually wasn't feeling well. And I'm still not feeling well, if you can see the bags under my eye. And we got up and we left. And I canceled my membership. I did not like the way they treated Carlo. I did not like the way they spoke to people. I'm not better than anybody. Um, I've been very lucky. I've worked very hard, but I know I still remember where I come from. And I told my wife when we were sitting in the car, because I didn't even start the car, I was just, sometimes you get a realization and it can strike you pretty hard. I was like, I'm not coming to I'm canceling our membership. We're not doing this shit anymore, Maria. I'm not going to be a part of any of this at all. Uh, these aren't my people. I don't like the way they treat people. I don't like the way they act, the pretentiousness. And I can't believe I let myself want to belong and get sucked into that. So there are people that grow up with, they call them a silver spoon, trust fund babies, all the rest of it. They have no real concept of reality. So if you start out on life's journey at the finish line, your concepts of right and wrong, good and evil, and the rest of that are very different from the rest of the good people, good, hard-working people that have to fight their way through the system, fight their way through life. And I don't want to be a part of the trust fund babies, of the guys who have, and you know what? You want to make the biggest liars, cheaters, thieves, rogues, psychopaths, degenerates. Most of them have a fuck ton of money, and they're just used to getting away with things, or they can pay their way out of getting in. Anyways, I'm beating this horse to death. I hope I don't give off the air that I'm better than anybody else, because I'm not better than anybody else. I am thankful and lucky, and I do believe in God, and I am a spiritual person, and I do not like it when I am not going to be associated with any of those groups who think they're a little bit better than other people. Yeah. If you hear from me, you're not going to hear from me at some big club or dinner or anything like that. I'm done with all that bullshit. And they're just about, when they get together, all the people in there, they give each other's jobs. For example, the director of the hospital my wife works for, his son works for the director of the children's hospital here in El Paso. And her daughter works for him at the hospital. That is fucking nepotism from the get-go. They're all into cronyism. Hang on, I gotta go shut the air conditioning unit off. I thought it was off. I don't want to be associated with that bullshit anymore. And it didn't, I don't know why it didn't dawn on me. I'm just gonna open the thing and open the, to stop it manually. I would rather I'm just not going to do it anymore. And it's embarrassed. I was embarrassed. But I finally, to come to the realization that I was sitting among these people, and how I got introduced to these people is I used to do, I don't know if the statue, well, I'll just use a general term. I used to be a bag man when I first got down here to, just to make some fat stacks of cash that I could just throw around. Not that I needed it. I did it more for the, because I'm a bit of an adrenaline junkie. But that's gone too. I haven't done that in a very long time. So, hang on, that's our spoiled little cat. Every time she comes in, she has to, that she's here. This is Nala. She used to fit in the palm of my hand. I can't believe how big she's gotten. Anyways, so story, and I hope none of you get lost on your trip. I can tell you, if I had seen myself at that table, anyways, I hope you understand what I'm saying. I hope I'm not giving off the air that I'm some arbitrator of truth, and that if you don't listen to me, you're not going to be successful. That's not anything that I'm doing, but I'm definitely not talking about any country club or any of that bullshit anymore. I'm going to be around good people. All right? Love you guys. Remember where you came from. Stay safe and healthy. Take care of each other if you can. And if you can't, you have to take care of yourselves. That is to say that it isn't impossible for someone who comes from a lot of money to be a good, humble person. But it's pretty fucking rare. And like a Ford and a G-string from West Texas, El Paso, I'm out of here. Bye-bye.